At Bombas, we make socks, underwear, and T-shirts that feel good and do good. They feel good because they're designed with the softest materials and comfort innovations. They do good because for every item you purchase, we donate another item to someone who needs it. So far, we at Bombas have donated over 100 million items, and your purchases add to that impact. Go to bombas.com/Wondery and use code WONDERY for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/Wondery and use code WONDERY at checkout.
Watch what happens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that happens? Watch what happens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that happens? Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me is the one and only Mr. Ronnie Karam. We are in the middle of our Southern Charm recap. Part 1 was earlier on the feed. If you missed it, be sure to subscribe to Watch What Crappens because that way you'll have all the episodes on your podcast player. So go check out part 1 first, and if you've already finished part 1 or you just feel like being a rebel, here comes part 2. Thanks so much, everyone.
So then we go to Craig, and so we're in the getting ready segment, right? Where everyone's getting ready. So he calls Paige and he's like, "Hey, I wanted you to tell me how to dress Charleston preppy." It's like,
basically just imagine what I would consider absolutely hideous and break up with you over and put that on.
Just imagine something that would make me never want to move to your city, and that's what you wear.
Listen, if I were on Survivor and I learned how to make a fire, what would I burn? Wear that.
Wear something that would get you arrested by Anna Wintour at Fashion Week, and she doesn't even have that power, but she would suddenly immediately get it. That's what you should wear.
He's like, "I don't know why I have 2 pink blazers."
She's like, "Me neither. Stupid."
I would do blue. Actually, I would do black and also be in New York City, ideally. So then Taylor is putting on her non-sweater, which is probably very difficult for her. So she's like, "I look like a stripper on the way to a business meeting. God, can I please wear a knitted sweater turtleneck?"
So then let's see here.
Taylor's FaceTiming, and Taylor is FaceTiming Austin,
and he's in a Trop Pop. Sing right now. A Trop Pop shirt. And he says that Whitney's going to bring him some clothes because he just wants to wear a polo that he can pop the collar on. Don't you have that? Why are you guys acting like you've never heard of this theme before? You dress like this theme every day.
Yeah, I know that they're so befuddled by just like their gym clothes. That's basically what they're wearing. So, seersucker suits, because that's what they wear to like LA Fitness. So then Taylor's like, "I think Olivia's excited to see everyone and to get out of the house." And Austin's like, "Have you been talking to her much?" "Well, Vanita invited us over, but I wanted to make sure that Olivia felt comfortable with everyone who's there. And so I kind of voiced a little bit to Vanita, and she's like, 'Taylor, it sounds like your emotions are all over the place.' And I was like, 'What?' And she's like, 'I don't think it's a good idea for you to come over today.' And I was like, 'Shut the fuck up, you fucking bitch. My emotions aren't all over the place.'" It was pretty cool.
She just says that Vanita says, "Don't come. It's not a good idea for you to come over." And Austin's like, "That is fucking ridiculous. Like, you don't know if one of her best friends should be there for her in the absolute moment of need." So what do you think about this? I thought that, I can say why they would say that. Like, maybe it's not good since you just got caught lying to Olivia. But I also think, like,
here's what
she has been her best friend, and her brother just died. I think like this stuff of Austin being a dirtbag kind of would go to the side. I don't know.
Personally, I think it should have been like kind of like it should have been like, "Yeah, come on over. We all need to support her." But what I thought was kind of fucked up was that it seemed like they didn't want Olivia there. And then Vanita took that phone call from, not Olivia, Taylor. Vanita took that phone call from Taylor, and Vanita's like, "Yeah, well, I think your emotions are really all over the place, so maybe don't come." And then Leva took the phone out of Vanita's hands and was like, just come. So it really undermined Vanita and made Vanita look really like the shittier person, even though it was both her and Leva who had decided that she shouldn't come. And I think that Vanita should have said, I think Vanita should have been more honest and said, listen, I'm not sure, considering the place that you and Olivia are in right now, I don't know if that may do more harm than good for this moment. But ultimately, I would have just invited her. But
I think they should have just said, you know, Olivia's coming over. Let me just ask her if she's okay with it, because I don't want to make her feel weird.
oh
and
yeah,
awkward.
that's a great. Look at
Like,
that.
why does anybody
That's a really good.
besides her get to decide
Yeah.
about Taylor?
I'm
you
just
know?
saying, if Vanita was going to say anything, she should have just been more direct rather than saying, "Well, your emotions are all over the place." Because it's like, what does that mean? I mean, we know what it means, but like, just say, like, be a reality star in that moment.
And then Taylor, of course, responded like, well, I think that her, you know, she says something like, well, I guess her real, you know, what she really needs is people that she's known the longest to be there, you know, like she said something like that, which is also kind of taken out of context later. Because, of course, nobody repeats the stories exactly how they happened. But
you know what I didn't like, actually? I didn't like Austin's reaction where he's like, that's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, you know, like, you're one of your best friends. That's fucking ridiculous. How many events has Austin iced Vanita out of over the past 3 years? So many times Vanita has been like left out. And I'm not saying like, oh, because Vanita's so amazing, but she has been left out. And now Taylor gets like, there's one thing for Taylor, and Austin is suddenly all outraged when Vanita is constantly pushed to the side for this cast.
well, Austin also is the one who fucked everyone over in the situation.
Yeah.
He made out with Olivia's best friend, then told the best friend not to say anything, then said something on his own. Like, he, of course, is the one causing all these problems. And he knew that it probably wasn't good to go to Taylor's event because Olivia would be there and he didn't want to make her uncomfortable. And that was before anyone had even passed away. So for him to act all like indignant now, like, shut up.
Yeah,
Shut up, Austin. As usual. As usual, the answer is shut up, Austin.
So Shep arrives at the event space first, and he's wearing like a blazer that the cuffs are like basically they're like capri pants, but sleeves instead. I'm like, you're so rich. Why aren't you wearing a blazer that fits right? And then Shep's like, hey, what's going on? It's quiet in here. I can't believe I'm first, but I just need to stay out of the streets in case Taylor splashed me with another puddle.
Sorry, guys. I was on the Titanic. It was so scary.
I felt like I was back at the Mekong Delta in the Vietnam War. You should really watch the documentary.
So, are you going to try and lead me on the way to Oz, or are we going to party, buddy? And JT's like, welcome to my party space. He's like, yeah, I remember this space. This used to be that late night spot, as I recall. And he's like, yeah, it was a speakeasy in COVID because we weren't allowed to party, remember? He goes, yeah, I remember. I think I might have been there with some young ladies, if I'm remembering correctly.
Then he's like, I mean, maybe. Maybe not. Gosh, why did I say that? JT's like, well, I didn't call you out on that because, you know, I was trying to help you out there, buddy. And he's like, no, it couldn't be true because I had a girlfriend. I don't cheat. I definitely didn't go to a speakeasy with some girls. I'm like, the fact that you were at a
Then he starts
speakeasy
laughing
shows
like
that
he's just so fucking hilarious, you know? It's like, wow, you haven't embarrassed Taylor enough. Do it some more on camera, you dick.
you were at a speakeasy. You were already cheating the law. So, don't act like you weren't cheating your girlfriend too.
So JT is telling us, like, wow, I mean, Shep, how do you throw that catch back out to sea? Because if I caught that beautiful catch, I'd never let her out of the boat. It's like, Jesus, you're so creepy. How are you taking the phrase, what a catch, and making it so fucking creepy, dude?
Taylor's like a big, beautiful tuna. Sustainably raised. Tastes great. And surprisingly larger than you would think.
If I caught that catch, I'd smack it on the head and throw it in an ice bucket until I was ready to eat it.
So, and then when I take it in for a weigh-in and I got the prize, I got the best tuna, they would gut it and see that I didn't put any pebbles in it to forge that weight. Did you ever see Lost in the metaphor? Just now I'm just thinking about winning a fishing competition.
The fuck are you talking?
Now I just want to win something. I want to be an angler. I want to win them all.
Fuck.
I saw a video once. No, because my brain started to go because I'm caffeinated. I saw a video once. It was the funniest thing. This guy won a fishing competition, but it was like a big deal. It was like $250,000. But then the judges found were inspecting the fish. They're like, wait a second, and like reached into the fish, and there were like pebbles or something. There were like weights to make the fish seem like it was heavier. And they're like,
God,
this man cheated. And they held up the weights, and then all the fishermen started being like, boo, you're a cheater, you're a cheater. It was like a mob of fishermen being like, you're a cheater, you're a cheater, you're a cheater. And it was like this really amazing video that I loved. Just angry
Cheating
fishermen
with stones.
Angry fishermen.
So catch. I'm gonna get that catch. So Craig comes, and basically it's a bunch of arrivals, right? Everyone starts coming, and then Whitney comes in this mustard yellow suit. Wow, and it looks like a joke. Like, wait, maybe he's doing this to be disco-y. And Madison's even like, wow, disco much? And he goes, I actually had this suit made over the summer in Italy. Bunga bunga. All right.
It's very mustard. It's very Craig's like, I wanted to wear pink, but Paige said that my cheeks are too rosy, and then she also said I'm actually really dumb, and she said, honestly, all you do is sew squares and stuff things in the middle of them. Like, why would I move to Charleston for that? It was pretty cool.
I like when Craig saw Whitney's suit and he goes, what's the guy from Curious George's name? The guy who had to like catch George all the time. Hilarious.
Where's his hat? Where's his monkey?
So then Vanita and Madison go over to talk privately. Madison's like,
Let's talk about the mirror so we can look at ourselves while we talk shit. Okay, here we are. Time to talk. Time for our little talk show, Beta Talk, with Madison and Vanita, where we talk about the latest news from the betas in our group.
So Vanita's like, she's like, well, the whole situation with Olivia and her brother, I mean, we had a powwow with like me and her and Leva, and just to let her out of the house. And then Taylor calls me and she's like, I'm sorry, I think that Olivia needs real friends around her. And Matt's like, real friends?
okay, that's not exactly what happened. Okay, that is not. She didn't just randomly call her out of the blue and say she needs her real friends. She said that after you told her she wasn't allowed to come.
Yeah.
So, just to be fair. So then Madison's like,
Real friends? Well, you were just kissing the guy she likes. And if Taylor was trying to be protective over Olivia, she's too fucking late. So I think she needs to shut the fuck up about talking about Vanita. Because Vanita's not over there trying to mac on her boyfriend.
And another thing, Taylor, don't you ever lay hands on my son again. It's like, whoa, Madison. So... she's got a lot of displaced anger. So, or misplaced, I should say. Words matter. So Madison says, to be holier than thou. She's not practicing what she preaches, but she was also sending nudes to Whitney. There, I said it. So Vanita's just like, Vanita just starts cracking up. She just like turns around and walks away and laughs. And Matt's like,
yeah, Patricia told me. Patricia told me.
And then we see 2 weeks ago. And then there's the nude photographs she sent Whitney, but we're not talking about that, eh?
Reminds me of that book, Tinker Tailor Soldier Slut. So, because Taylor's in the title. So Taylor enters. Are you okay? Are you okay, Ronnie?
I feel like you're trying to push me into retirement.
Never.
You're like, I'm going to see if I can break him. I'm going to break him today.
Listen, it's not my fault. It's the fruit fly. You're under siege.
It's the fruit fly.
I'm happy. I'm like sitting here. I made it through the week. I got my
I'm going to be sent to the hospital from laughing too much. Okay, so Taylor comes over and JT's like, Taylor, dreams have come true. Okay, JT, you're never going to get it. 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 Oh.
You're not in vogue. So, Yeah, so Vanita, where are we? What's happening? We're singing In Vogue now? Okay.
There's Bunny. Bunny's like, honey, you're just like that couch, not in vogue. Okay, please stop.
Giving him something she can't feel.
So why were we talking? I just did this, I think, yesterday. Okay,
In
so
Vogue?
anyway, Taylor. So Taylor tells Whitney, "Wow, Whitney, I didn't think you knew you owned anything other than black." And she makes a hug rounds while Madison gives dirty looks from the corner.
I think I need a refill.
And so Taylor comes up to her and Vanita at the bar, and she's like,
Hi, ladies. You're looking good.
and they just kind of, they're like,
Yeah,
hello.
they're
They
super
kind of
cold.
ignore her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Vanita's like, well, I mean, what am I supposed to do at this point? I mean, if you're not going to make attempts and efforts to be a good friend, I'm tired of trying. So,
But weren't they fine at the end of that episode when Taylor came over? I thought everything went okay.
I thought so. I don't know. But, I'm just happy that Vanita has some sort of storyline happening, even if it's a little rickety. So Craig's like, wow, hey, so JT became the most popular guy in quarantine because he had all these parties. And JT's like, thank you, Craig. And he helped spread coronavirus around Charleston. Yeah, it's our own variant. It's called the bunny variant from my mom. She's great.
It's called Mommy. You never want it to leave you. Am I right?
Kind of helps you in your life, actually. So
And Craig's like, yeah, well, Charleston also has its own variant of other things, like chlamydia. And Taylor goes, what do they call it? The Chucktown clap?
Madison is so mad. She just turns to Vanita and goes,
Like I said, hate to heathen.
So Leva comes and hugs. Rod comes. Olivia comes. So everybody's hugging. And JT's like, so, Taylor, do you have a Valentine? No. Well, are you dating anybody? She's like, no. He goes, same. She goes, yeah. I'm not really trying to jump into anything right now. I'm good. So
you're not interested in getting the Chucktown clap, if you know what I'm saying?
I'm good.
Have you ever thought about putting on some sort of costume that made you look like a bass? Be kind of hot. Be real hot.
Good.
Be real hot. You in a bass costume. Oh, yeah.
Would you like to be with someone who weighs 206 pounds? Are you weighted?
Are you?
Can't lie to you.
If I sliced open your belly, would I find pebbles in there?
Okay, too dark. That's really dark. But
Sorry,
if
my
I could
fantasies.
catch you, if you could be my catch, please give me out. See if you can fit into that ice chest. See?
Can you open and
Creepo.
close your lips really quickly as if you're gasping for air, but it's not air, you're gasping for water instead? It's weird, I know, but just do it.
So we get a little part where Vanita is talking to Craig about going to Fashion Week because she has to leave tonight. And she's like, yeah, I'm supposed to go to Kate Spade, Cold Gaia.
Of course. Cold Gaia. From Below Deck, Down Under, remember that girl was like, she was like, if she ruins my Cold Gaia, I will never forgive her.
And she tells us, as an influencer, I'm paid to go to Fashion Week for brands. I was like, fascinating. Have fun. So then Austin and Olivia are checking in, and Olivia's thing is saying game changer. That's her thing today.
Quite
He's
literally.
like, how are you doing? She's like, I really can't thank y'all enough. Like, y'all are a game changer, really. Like, you guys are game changers.
Yeah, even just seeing all of you guys sitting in your section at church, and Austin goes, "Yeah, I said to Craig, like quite literally, like I was like, let's stand right here," and then she's gonna like shoot a glance over, and she's gonna see all us idiots standing in a pew, and she's gonna laugh, and she's gonna smile. Like, congratulations, you came up with a brilliant plan to sit with your friends in a pew at a church at a funeral.
I know, we have to take credit for every little thing. And so then we go to Madison and Craig, and Madison's like,
Well, I feel bad for Olivia, but I mean, they're fine. So what do I care?
because they're watching them talk. She's like, what do I care? If she wants to hang out with Austin, let her. And Craig's like, well, she forgives him now, but unfortunately for Liv, when she's in grief, she's going to remember all the bad shit. Like, Paige is usually fine with me, but the minute she starts crying, she starts screaming, why can't you open canned tomatoes? And then she throws things at my head.
Yeah, because the other thing is that like when when Olivia moves into her next stage of grief, the things that she's going to feel is, wait, hold on a second. Let me see. Hey, Paige, what was I supposed to say again?
Don't wear pink. Don't wear pink.
Don't wear pink.
And pink is stupid.
Don't. But the thing about Olivia, you told me to say to sound smart at the party. Oh, shut up, Craig. I'm over it. Shut up, Craig. I'm over it.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
Watch What Crappens and Winter is Crappening are the funniest recap podcasts. But if you want something more eerie, try the new podcast Ghost Story, about my investigation into a murder-suicide in my own family. Ghosts aren't real. At least that's what I've always believed. Sure, odd things happen in my childhood bedroom, but ultimately, I shrugged it all off. That is, until a couple of years ago when I discovered that every subsequent occupant of that house is convinced they've experienced something inexplicable too, including the most recent inhabitant who says she was visited at night by the ghost of a faceless woman. It just so happens that the alleged ghost haunting my childhood room might just be my wife's great-grandmother, who was murdered in the house next door by 2 gunshots to the face. Ghost Story, a podcast about family secrets, overwhelming coincidence, and the things that come back to haunt us. Follow Ghost Story on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
Every time Craig weighs in on the relationship, and I'm like, wow, that sounds sort of insightful. I'm like, oh, because Paige said it.
Yeah, because he
Paige
has
told
something to say about every part of the relationship. Like, he should absolutely not be there for Olivia right now. Which, of course, he should be there. He's like the person in the friend group who's gone through something similar, you know?
He's like, 1,000%. 1,000%. It's like, you're just doing Paige now, Craig. You're just saying Paige things.
So Leva comes over.
Yeah, she's like, so what did I miss? Like, why are your eyes super wide? Like, you want to tell me something? And Vanita's like, well, I need to pull my hair back for this one. Okay, so Taylor is someone who chooses to be a Bible beater and a God worshiper and praise the Lord every Sunday, and then you turn around and send nudes to Whitney. And Leva's like, what?
I really don't like the nude shaming.
I don't like
the
it
nude
either.
pic shaming. It bugs me.
I'm
Like, it kind of does bug me that she was sending nudes to Whitney just because he's like the boss of the show. It just bugs me that so many people go through Whitney to get on this show. I mean, someone said that in the comments, and I thought that was like the perfect way to say, I just don't like that. I do think that there's some HR issues with just Whitney like banging people on the cast. Not that he necessarily did her, but it's just gross. But so what? She's allowed to send nudes to people,
Yeah.
and I don't think you're allowed to send around the nudes and then shame people. And I really don't like seeing the women shame the woman over. I would almost expect, not that it would be better from the men, but like I almost expect it from them. But I don't. It just bugs me. It's rubbing me the wrong way.
You did the logic that I hate. No, I'm just kidding. I
told you that was coming back. It's coming back in this section.
But I have to say, I'm all for like hypocrisy shaming and religious hypocrisy shaming. I have to say, I don't get a huge amount of proselytizing from Taylor. If she did, I'd probably be more angry. I sort of get the feeling like these are the guidelines that she has for her life, but she doesn't seem to force them. As far as I can see, they may know more than we do. She doesn't seem to force them on other people. So I don't necessarily have a problem with her having guidelines for her life, but then falling short. But yeah, it's weird. There's like I do honestly, I feel bad for Taylor, and I don't know if by me feeling bad for Taylor, I am now participating in some sort of patriarchal bullshit or whatever. But like, I do feel like she fell for Shep. I actually don't believe she fell for Shep just to be on a TV show. I think she just fell for Shep. I think Shep sold her a dream. And we say, oh God, like Taylor, open your eyes. Shep is like his behavior's all on TV. Like, you should get out. And like, yes, but sometimes you just don't. And she did get out. She eventually did get out. And I just feel like she was just destroyed by Shep. I feel like she was crushed and destroyed by Shep. And she is spiraling out of control. And she has no idea what she's doing. And it's all being put on TV. And I actually am like, I kind of feel bad for her because I just feel like she's going to look back at this and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did this all on TV. But then again, there's also Raquel's in the world where like I might feel bad for them, and then you find out like, oh my God, they've done terrible things too. So I don't know, but I feel like in this case, Yeah, there's the
I don't
shaming
feel
over
bad for
the
Taylor in
nudity.
general. Like, I don't feel bad for Taylor in general. I know that it didn't work out with Shep, but to me, Shep is such a Shep that, like, what did you expect? And then, like, he didn't make her quit her job. Everybody knew that was a stupid idea. Everybody told her that was a stupid idea. And she still was like, I'm going to travel.
How about I feel bad
which
that
is
she's weak?
not the worst choice. I don't necessarily feel bad in general, but I do feel bad for this. I don't like when everybody's ganging up on somebody, and I don't like when they're using something so personal. I mean, this would really hurt a lot of people in a different way. Like, if you sent a nude to somebody and people were sharing, I would be horrified.
I'd be mortified that people are
So
sharing it and then they're just talking about it on this show. And that's why I'm like, I feel like she's being like putting up like a brave front, but I feel like she is quietly being devastated by all this. And you're right, she didn't have to quit her job. I think she's weak. She is weak, and I feel bad that she's weak. But then again, there are a lot of people who are weak and that don't get the empathy that she gets, so, or the sympathy. So I don't know. But I have to
don't know. I
only
just
speak
don't
about
like
my
that it's
honest reactions, okay?
Yeah, I mean, this show is just the men are such pigs on this show, and it really bugs me that the women are playing the men's game, because we've seen a lot of slut shaming on the show, but it's generally from the men.
Yeah.
It's not, well, that's not true, because Catherine had to deal with Cameron and Landon and all those people.
Yeah.
So I guess
I
that is kind
wonder,
of a tradition on this show.
are we not seeing something from Taylor that the girls are seeing? Because I actually do believe that Vanita and Leva are pretty smart people, and I also feel like they seem to have a pretty progressive mindset where they wouldn't necessarily fall into slut shaming. And I wonder if are we not seeing, maybe has Taylor been talking down to them about religion? Has Taylor been talking down to them about like following God and this and that? Because then I can understand why they'd be pissed. But if she hasn't been, it does feel a little more on the slut shaming side of things.
Well, Leva and Vanita aren't around the rest of the cast, really. I mean, except for group scenes. You know, they seem to be the most on the outside of everybody in the cast. So I think what they're going on is what Madison is telling them, you know, basically. And so they're kind of following that thread, and Madison's not having it. So who knows? But I don't like it in general. So Craig's like, come on, Madison. I didn't know we were telling people. And she's like, well, Patricia knew. And she kind of laughs. And Craig's like, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to kill myself. And then he walks over to where the guys are sitting. And, you know, Craig loves some goss.
Yeah.
So immediately he goes over to the guys and steps right onto the couch, the new couch in this place. Idiot.
He does that
Craig.
thing that drives me nuts at clubs. I've said this before. When like you go to a club and there's all these booths and banquettes or whatever, and then people, because they're cool, they don't sit on the banquette. What they do is they sit on top of the banquette and they put their feet where you're supposed to sit, because somehow it's cooler. You're like a cool person if you sit on top of a banquette instead of in the banquette. Like somehow you're like more important, but all you're doing is just like defying the rules of banquettes, and like that's it. And so that's what he does. He sits on top of like this the cushion thing, and he puts his feet on this nice new cushion. And so JG is like, he's like, Craig, can you not stop it? Can you not desecrate the pillows? I mean, Bunny put that pillow right there from her private collection. That's my mother you're putting your foot on.
And then Craig's like, okay, sorry. So he takes off his shoes and then puts his bare feet under him to sit crisscross applesauce on the. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? My God. Like, I feel like Paige needs to be here at all times with the fly swatter just smacking him, you know?
She does.
So Leva, back to the ladies, Leva's like, Taylor is officially like that girl. And then we cut back to the guys, and Shep's like, what's going on over there? Craig goes, well, this affects you too. Why don't you go over there, Shep? Go on, do it, Shep.
Leva's like, I feel like I just like no longer know this person. I mean, one moment she's selling me Day Chaser. Next thing I know, she's sending nudes out. Like, who is she? So I'm like, well, this has also been like the first season I think you've ever talked to Taylor, baby. So Madison calls over Shep, and Shep's like, hey, why did Craig say that I was affected by the conversation over here? Did you just watch the Vietnam War by Ken Burns? Gosh, it's so good. What was your favorite installment?
So, yeah, so he goes to Madison. Madison's like, hi. So it's like, what's going on? And she's like,
Well, nothing. I mean, just Taylor sent Whitney some pictures. There were some pictures at some point. He goes,
what pictures? She goes,
provocative, I guess. Let's just say it was new. I don't know.
I don't know, because she knows she's in trouble now, right?
I just like how she tries for a half second to be like understated.
Let's just say it's provocative. Nude, slutty nude, badge all out, tits and nude.
So now Shep obviously knows this, right? He does not look surprised at all. And he also made that comment, come one, come all, when they said, is Taylor coming to your pheasant dinner? And he said, come one, come all. We speculated on why he would have said that. I mean, it seems like obviously Whitney told him.
Yeah.
And that Shep was making that joke to kind of
Whitney definitely
taunt her or do whatever on national TV. Ugh.
I believe that Whitney and Shep are like at a different sort of space with this cast. I believe the two of them, old money pals, and they go and they have bourbon at the end of the night and they just talk shit about every single person on this cast. That's my theory. So Shep is like, well, Taylor went through a tempest, if you will, like Shakespeare, and it wasn't in a teacup. It was in a puddle, and I was part of that. But she didn't know how to behave when things fell apart, and she was trying to hurt me any way she could. I'm rational about this.
And she's like,
Well, I've been there, okay? Like, I was a completely different person when I was in a toxic relationship. I woke up smelling pathetic because I was sleeping next to pathetic. You understand what I'm saying? I had fleas because I was laying down with a dog. So I get it. But at the same time, Olivia crying on her shoulder and then her lying for so many months, I mean, that's a little disturbing. Am I right?
and Shep is drinking and he's pissed. Like you can tell. Like he starts getting the cloud come over his face.
So now there's like more mingling, and Olivia's hanging out with Rod, and Austin's just watching from afar and so angry. And Austin's like, watching Rod and Olivia together, I think the whole thing is weird. But I'm like, I'm not really too thrilled about it. I mean, I guess what's so weird about it is it's strange to see Olivia not wearing a poncho to protect against saliva. Like, I've never seen her like that.
It's like someone finally left SeaWorld, and I don't know how to take it.
It's like someone going to Niagara Falls, but not wearing the blue thing.
So Shep and Taylor are talking. So Shep's like, so what's going on? With a big smile. And she's like, not much. He's like, oh, God, I'm so sorry. She's like, what, Shep? He goes, well, okay, well, Madison said that you sent Whitney a nude pic. And she goes, yeah. And it was like completely dark. You couldn't even see anything, whatever.
Yeah, and you know what? It's your right. Just as it's your right to get a job. It's your right to be in the workplace and to send like a dark boob photo. But I just don't want to see you doing that. Just like I don't want to see you with your Ford Explorer pulling into a puddle. But I'm not going to fault you for that. You're in a hashtag tempest.
And he goes, I'm not going to fault you. I was like, oh, wow. Thanks, Shep. Wow. Here comes hero Shep, you know. So she just shrugs it off, which I thought was so funny. And we see her in the confessional. And someone sent us a picture side by side of her and Livia last year in the confessional wearing the same dress. Oh, which I thought was like crazy that she's showing up in one of Olivia's outfits from last year. I did not fact check it, but it's the red dress with the kind of ribbon looking, like open ribbon. I don't know what you would call that thing, but the sleeve, the over the shoulder. I don't know. Look, you guys know what it is. You watch the show. So anyway, Taylor just tells us, well, God created the human body, and I believe we should all be naked. Jesus isn't going to hate me if I send a nude. I mean, it wasn't sexy. I've sent way better than that. I was like, yes, I like this response. I wasn't expecting it.
I was not expecting that at all. So Shep's like, I'm just letting you know so you can get ahead of things. She's like, I don't care. I would flash my tits right now. Please don't do that. So now it's time for dinner. And so JT makes a speech. He goes, hey, everyone. Thank you all for coming. JT, stand up. I am standing up. Stand up, JT. Don't get out of your chair. Ha, 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 gosh.
I just wanted to give a speech and say that it's been some real hard times. I don't want to get too much into that, except to say, Olivia, my heart goes out to you. Everybody else here, you know, there was a fisherman, and the fisherman occasionally gets a kitch. And when you get that kitch, you've locked that fucking kitch up. Am I right, everybody?
JT, stop putting a styrofoam cooler on Taylor's head. So he goes, I just want to say thanks for being here today, and I sincerely hope for smoother waters for all of us. Okay, now let's talk about Taylor's nudes.
So then the salads come out, and Rod's like, I've never had a salad in my life. No, thanks. And Olivia goes, but you could have tried it. And he's like, no, you're gluten-free and I'm salad-free. That's how it is. Okay, Rod, you're dead to me.
Rod,
You're dead to me.
Rod.
Not because I'm a big salad advocate, but just because you're trying to act like you're not one of these men children. You are another fucking man child. I don't care if you're newer on the block. You are the same. I don't believe you for 1 second. Now I cannot wait to watch his douche flower bloom next season.
I do appreciate him throwing the gluten-free thing back in Olivia's face, though. That was pretty hilarious. It's like, don't come for me. You're gluten-free. I'm salad-free. But that being said, I mean, Rod, like bragging that you've never had a salad in your life, this is actually way more mortifying than anything going on with Taylor's nudes. This is the real story.
So Vanita has to leave to catch her flight. So she says bye. And then Craig is like, wow, this is a really nice place, JT. Like, even the bathroom's nice. I used to pee in the bushes here. JT goes, clearly you didn't go to Cotillion in Delaware.
And JT says, I got a proper powder room for you, which I feel like was a double meaning there. And so Greg's like, yeah, I didn't go to Cotillion in Delaware because I'm from the winning side of the country. Witticism. And JT says, oh, okay, bring it back to the Civil War. Yeah, I was born a winner and you were born a loser. Ha.
And Chef's like, so Craig, we're all losers and you're the winner, right? He goes, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. Craig, you're so stupid. Cotillion doesn't mean that. Okay. Cotillion is a manners school type thing. Like, Cotillion is where you go learn manners, son.
Either way, I don't think I like Craig opening the door on like Civil War shit talking, and is like, I'm not gonna do this. Paige, please watch this episode, and then like let's it's time to move on, Paige. You're gonna be stuck with someone who's gonna be making Civil War jokes.
I feel like Paige watches every episode of this, and she's always got a pillow on her lap, just to be like, oh, just to scream into at moments like this.
So Olivia's like, this is like Thanksgiving dinner with like all the weird family members, but we're like all getting along for the time being, And then Rod's like, yeah, I mean, who's the crazy uncle right now? And Olivia's like, Uncle Shep. Gosh! Oh, well, guess what? It's time for Daddy to have a scotch. Fill me up.
So, of course, Shep, who doesn't want to embarrass Taylor, is going to do this at the table with everybody here. Just innocent Shep, who just wants to help Taylor. So he's like, so Madison, I hope nobody hears us at this tiny little skinny table that we're all shoved into. But I said something to Taylor, and according to her, it was dark, and there was nothing explicit in the nude photo that she sent Whitney.
I'm not buying it, Beta. It's bullshit.
So Taylor goes, well, obviously, since something was like brought up earlier today by Whitney, thank you. Yes, there was a picture sent out that you can, but you could not see anything because I put on the knit sweater filter on the camera, so it really obscures a lot of it.
Well, really? Because I saw your tits in your vagina.
And then there's a really awkward pause.
She's like, what?
Which I was glad because it gave me time to laugh. Fucking Madison.
Really? I saw your tits and vagina.
So then Taylor's like, what? She goes,
just saying.
She goes, did you then? She goes,
yeah. And I saw the caption, come on, come on.
Taylor probably took a photo that was dark. And in the photo, you can't see anything, but she didn't realize that you can take photos and up the exposure and then see everything, right? So,
no, I think she sent a nude.
Oh, you think it was full light? Okay.
Oh yeah, of course. If I looked like Taylor, that would be my headshot. Okay, I would be nude right now.
So JT's like, I mean, he tells us, who hasn't sent a nude? I mean, I get them from my mom all the time. Am I right? I mean, we all get them. Family thing.
Gross. And Madison's like,
I mean, yeah, of course. What am I, dead, living under a rock? Of course I seen nudes. My husband ain't here 4 days out of the week.
Send all the nude pictures you want, but do not send Whitney nude pictures because there are like so many people to send nude pictures of your boobs to. Like, why send them to Whitney?
Exactly.
That's fair.
That's exactly
That's
true.
fair.
And Olivia says the same thing. She's like, why in the world would you send that to Whitney? And so Taylor is like, you know what? I just want to put this kaput. And I was just coming at you because I was upset with Shep. So I was fucking around with you to fuck around with Shep, okay? And so you can sense nothing was seen. And Leva's like, what the fuck is with this girl? You know, she's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What kind of argument is that?
I felt wrong seeing it, but he did show me, and then I like looked at it like 5 times. And I was like, bro, can you airdrop that to me? And I just felt so wrong when he did that.
When he's like, Craig, I did not. And he goes, yeah, you did 100%. And I was like, I shouldn't see this, but I had to. It was like he forced it on my eyes. And Shep's like, what the hell is going on? What are you talking about? When he's like, it was a joke. I didn't show anybody. It was deleted. It was deleted on my phone because my mother had it on her iPad by then, which, you know, basically went out to every press organization in the Charleston area.
Hi, Whitney.
Randy actually got it tattooed on his lower back, so he'd never forget what it looked like.
Hi, Whitney. It's your mother. Just want to let you know I got that picture you wanted blown up and framed. I'm putting it in the new quote-unquote den you said you wanted for the boys. Okay, I'll see you at home.
Thankfully, we've got a sculpture here from Italy, turning that picture into a sculpture of naked Taylor that we're going to put on the pool and just put a hole in her mouth and let it blow out water as a waterfall stream.
Hey, Randy said he'd put on some tramp-like makeup and a little dress and do a striptease for you called the Taylor dance. Is that okay?
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
So, JT is like, okay, so I'm just gonna take the high ground here. You should take the high ground because no one can see you. Would you stand up when you're talking? I am standing.
Too easy, gosh.
Okay, I'm going to take the high ground on this. Taylor is a good person, and maybe she made some bad decisions, but I would say the genesis of the bad decisions, like that I put a Bible chapter in there, Taylor. I did that for you, Kitch. Now, I think the genesis of the bad decisions are male-related. I was like, oh, gosh. Hey, you're not wrong, but are you going to really simp at this dinner now? Come on.
It's so funny. I fall for it. I'm like, that's a good man.
He loves Taylor. And I love that he's standing up for her too, you know, and I do agree with what he's saying, but it's like he is that guy, like that kind of dorky guy with no chance. He's like, I'm going to stand up for my future queen Kitch.
And he's also going to fall into all the traps as everyone. I'm not even going to say fall into the traps because that makes it seem like they're innocent victims. He is going to do all the things the other guys are doing. But for now, he's slightly untainted. So he actually does something that's slightly virtuous. And then you see all the guys, they're all flummoxed. Like, quite literally, this is ridiculous. So Taylor's like, I have not been the best version of myself, and I'm working on that. I went through a very terrible breakup with someone who crushed me, aka this person right here, who's actually the one fake defending me right now. Do you guys see what a mindfuck this is? Do you see why I would send a nude to literally anyone? Because I'm so fucking messed up from this guy. Anyone?
And Madison's like,
but does that give you an excuse to do that to Olivia? I mean, don't talk about friendship when you're kissing the guy she likes. I mean, it is literally disgusting.
And Taylor's like, wait, what did I do? Kiss someone single? Okay, that's where Taylor loses me.
Yeah,
you know?
when she said that, I was like, aha, you're defending it.
That's where she loses me. At the same time, she should not have to defend a nude picture at a table in front of everybody. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So Madison's like,
but while she's crying on your shoulder, that is fucked up.
And she tells us,
well, I've had to be accountable for everything I've ever done, but I think Taylor gets a pass because she's been with everybody at the table.
I'm laughing because it's so like her slut shaming is like so shameless. She's just going for it.
But they all do it. They're all doing it. Vanita does it. Leva does it in just a minute. And this whole argument is so fucked up. So Olivia,
but Madison does go. She goes, I mean, if you're gonna be a hoochie, be one. Own it. And then because later on she basically says she owns it. So then Olivia's like, well, Taylor and I have like so much to talk about, and there's like clearly seems to be like a conversation going on around us, and like I'm pissed at her. I'm like really pissed at her, but we'll deal with that. And as much as I appreciate the support, everyone, like we're gonna figure it out. So like please don't pile up on her. Let's just eat some fucking steak.
I like this, good for her. So Madison shrugs and because she shut down.
Mhm.
And I wrote, I've never said this, but well done, Olivia. Wow, good job. So Taylor's like, well, wait now. Taylor starts it back up, which it's like you just got off the hook. Like, just let it go. But she starts it back up and she's like, well, I just want to say that I'm done being the conversation with every single person here. And Madison goes, well, act accordingly then. Practice what you preach.
Where we looked at you, we were like, you're the purest fucking unicorn of all. Boring, plain, uninteresting, but pure. And you are perfect, but we're seeing a different side of you that's unrecognizable. And what you portray is a fucking phony and a fake.
The only part of a unicorn you got is the horniness. Okay?
And Taylor's
whore.
like, okay, well, wow, thanks for stepping in then. She goes,
No, I'm not going to sit here over some candlelight dinner pretending you're better than you're better than thou, because you're not, and that couch is ugly.
Hey, but you perceive her that way, Madison. Oh my gosh, hush, you're the worst. Shut up, Shep.
he's like, well, you just told me 10 minutes ago that you did the same things as her. And she's like,
But I'm not sitting here on my knees saying I want to have a Bible study.
okay, so you're mad on Jesus's behalf?
She goes,
Like, I'm confused.
She goes, I claim to be a slut. I'm just retired.
I'm like, well, I don't love the slut shaming, but I did kind of love that line.
Yeah, I don't love this. So then the producer is asking Leva, like, why is Taylor getting such a pass? And Leva's like, she's young, she's naive, she's sweet, she's Southern, she's polite. I think the guys like that. And the boys would have gone after Madison if she had sent the pics, and that would have been the end of the world. But for her, it's okay. I'm like, yeah, but why are you? It's like, do you want them to go after her? Because
Right.
she's like, well, it's not. I mean, I guess it's kind for her because she's pure as driven snow. But they would give shit. No, they shouldn't be giving shit to anybody
shouldn't
over shit
be.
like this, and neither should you, of all people.
Well, and that's
Like,
why
I don't like it.
Well, that's actually also why I have mixed feelings about saying that I feel bad for Taylor, because what Leva's getting to is basically, Taylor is just sort of acting kind of like she's like, oh, innocent and soft and whatever. Like, she's fitting nicely into a box that the guys can all be like, oh, poor her. But like, for women who like speak out and are like a little bit more quote unquote like abrasive, like a Madison, they get none of this treatment. They don't get any of like the, oh well, she's gone through something. They don't get anything. So that's why I kind of feel bad saying I feel bad for Taylor, because I'm like, am I just playing into this, and but at the same time I do feel bad for Taylor. So
Well, I think there's a fine line. I mean, I think feeling bad for Taylor, like what I was specifying before, that I don't feel bad for her in general. I think sometimes feeling bad for people kind of puts them in this infantilizing people sort of a space. I'm not saying you're doing that.
No,
I'm
it's
saying
fine.
for me to be like, I feel bad for Taylor. It feels like that. Like, she's an adult. She makes decisions. You know what I mean? And I don't think that like she can't do anything. I just don't think that sending someone a nude is that bad. And I think slut shaming is bad. And I think ganging up on people is bad. And even if it wasn't really cool, she wasn't dating Shep. And I think the real asshole here is Whitney for sharing it with the whole fucking cast and sharing it over and over, and then everybody laughing about it. And then we see the flashbacks of how they were to
they
Madison.
were terrible to Madison.
They were horrible to Madison.
Terrible, and that's
calling her white trash.
Yeah.
And it's the boys' club, because Shep still thinks he has a shot with Taylor or whatever, or Taylor's going to make him look like a good person this season. So they're going to be nice to him. They're going to be nice to Taylor for Shep. You know what I mean? Just like they were mean to Madison for Austin.
I think you know what it is. I think that Madison presents as strong and Taylor presents as weak. And so people don't want to punch down on someone who's already weak. Some people will, but like generally speaking, I think they just see her as like fragile, and Madison is tough and they feel like she's tough. I can just go at her, which is, has this all kind of fucked up thing. And I think you're right. There is like a certain amount of infantilization that happens with Taylor and people like Taylor. And I think that part of me it has fallen into that thing of like, I have infantilized her probably to a certain degree, and therefore I feel bad for her. And obviously Taylor and Madison are two different people in two different circumstances that are going through two different things. But you do see a wild, like the reaction to Madison is real. When you see it there in that montage, you see how really cruel these guys are to her versus the way that they are to Taylor. And I think that like I don't think there's anything wrong with Taylor sending a nude, by the way, but where I feel bad for her is that I think that she will feel bad later on. I think that like based on like everything she talks about and believes in, I feel like in 5 years she's going to look back at that and she is going to think that she was a big mess, and then she's going to be embarrassed. And I feel bad for her that that she will feel that way when she doesn't have to, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
there's a nice potpourri of thoughts from me about Taylor and women.
well, yeah. I mean, you go all over not you personally, but you go all over the place watching this show. You know what I mean? Because there's so much going on, and it's like part of me is offended because Leva's saying, well, there's something innately in this culture where in the South, guys handle certain women with white gloves. And I think that's true.
100%.
But, the annoyance in it, or the like willing to slut shame Taylor, is like, well, do you want everybody to be treated equally as badly? Or do you think that everybody should be treated better? You know what I mean? All women should be treated better. And there seems to be this like, no, I was treated this way, so why aren't you being treated this way? Instead of, I never should have been treated this way. And neither should you,
Wow. I know I'm saying wow because I can't believe we're diving into like paradigms of gender or gender roles from this frickin' show. Like slut shaming, how we react to certain women, how we treat women, how men treat women and different women, and how like different types of women and all. I'm like, I cannot believe that like this is where my brain is going. So I'm gonna.
Well, I mean, look, we also are two men talking about predominantly women on these shows. We've been doing this for over 10 years, and our views, like, look how much we've had to learn, and look how far we have to go. I'm sure
always,
but. It's just interesting talking about it, and especially being Southern and seeing this kind of stuff my whole fucking life. I mean, there is that truth that she does kind of get away with, everyone thinking she's so innocent. But is she getting away with anything? Because the guys are just treating her like she's some dummy to be passed around, and she's like some prize. And nobody knows anything about fucking Taylor, which I think this season has made completely obvious.
Well, Taylor,
they just
she's fulfilling the stereotype of this like sweet, innocent, white lady Southern belle. Like she's like this delicate little flower, and so then everyone treats her that way, and perhaps me too, which makes me upset at myself. But you see someone like Madison, who they outwardly are aggressive towards because she isn't like a delicate little flower you can place in a box on a shelf. You see the way they treat a lot of other people who sort of push back at, I feel like, are the accepted norms of being a proper lady, quote unquote. I'm doing air quotes for people who aren't watching on video. Big air quotes.
So then it gets more sheppy. Because he goes, just stop, Madison. You flat out tried to embarrass someone. You always do that. I mean, please, you just said on camera you were banging a bunch of young ladies while you were in a relationship to embarrass her on camera yet again. Shep, be quiet.
We just saw a montage of you attacking Madison. Like you are the prime embarrasser.
So he's like, you always revert to this woman who's shouting from the mountaintops. Yeah, and you always revert to this fucking man-child who's yelling at a woman on national TV, red-faced.
Or your mom, not on TV. So Matt's like, oh, do you think you're any different? He's like, yeah, I do. I'm way more laid back than you ever dreamt about being. Oh, that's when I think about laid back, Shep. I think about Shep Rose. Exactly
like the last group thing where you got red faced and screamed at everybody and left the table because they weren't doing what you wanted. Yeah.
What about the scene from last season at the cabin, the Airbnb, where you were screaming at Craig like, you don't know? So
that's Shep, laid back Shep. So
Shep is
like, you're the one that she goes, oh yeah, you're so calm. Go to bed and read a scripture.
So Shep is like, I don't read scripture. I have zero interest. But you know who I do read? David Mamet. What a great playwright. So Matt's like, well, clearly not. So then shut the fuck up. So Craig's like, hey, what are you guys fighting about down there? I can't hear you. I'm so far away.
And Madison's like, I'm not one of your whipping bitches, Shep. You can't just sit here and talk to me like that. And JT's like, all right. Now let's just try to be respectful of the women non-catch at the table. Right?
The women and the fish women. Let's respect them all. They are literally a fish out of water right now. They have no idea what's going on.
Would this be a catch that I threw back into the water? Probably so, but it's still a catch, and catches should be respected.
I'm not about snapping at the table, but I am about some red snapper. So let's make a distinction.
Shep's like, whatever, man. And he goes, Shep, I'm being serious now. Let's keep it above board towards the ladies. Be the bigger man, Shep. You're the oldest guy in the room. And then it just cuts to Whitney's face like...
Whitney with like an AARP stamp on his forehead. And he's like, grow up.
In his yellow suit from Italy that looks like a disco suit. Dead.
Please be respectful to women. That's all I ask. I mean, this is actually such a funny statement here because JT is doing this chivalrous thing for the woman. He's standing up for women. Be respectful to the women, but at the same time, he's also fully objectifying. He's actually falling into the paradigms, right? That like women need like these knights in shining armor to stand up for them, etc.
This show's a mess. Pretty good episode though.
Great episode. It's a great season. I love the season. I was thinking about it's fall. Crappies are around the corner. It's like I'm starting to think about what we have a good crop of shows that could potentially be, show of the year nominees for the Crappies. And this one might be it. I'm not sure if it is yet, but this one could potentially be the best show of the year.
Yeah, we need to start getting nominations and stuff.
Yeah, it's time to start gathering.
It's going to be time in no time.
And we're going to have shorter categories this year. So now to get a nomination is going to mean a little bit more to anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone who cares.
All right. Well, we're going to have some super fun with that. A lot of fun with that. Everybody, thanks so much for being here. This was a really good time.
What a delight.
I can't believe we did another 2 hours, another two-parter this week. Sorry, guys, but you know what? We can't shut the fuck up. I'm just glad to have my little balloons back into life.
I'm just happy to be here. Can't wait to see everyone at SnailCon. And, hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, okay? Good luck with those fruit flies,
Bye,
Ronnie.
everybody. Oh, God. Okay, I'm going to go hunt down that little fucking mini fly now. That little JT version of a fly.
You will do it. You will do it. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors.
Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Strolling the park with Caitlin Clark.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela.
Itchels.
Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas.
She's never scary, it's the Green Fairy.
Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know Your Worth with Jason Kurth.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg. Ruru LaRue.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender. We want to hang with Liz Lang. The incredible edible Matthews sisters. Nancy Cease and Desisto.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke.
Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She's quite the catch. It's Victoria Cotchett.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today. Or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at